Okay.
Yes, now you can start.
1 second. Now I just will play. Now we'll try to share it. Okay. So, yeah. Now,
Just one thing before you begin. If you have any questions, anyone, just pop it in the Slack channel, and either I'll read it out in between or in towards the end once we are done with the presentation. Sorry, back to you, Lilia.
yeah. Everyone is able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Start to sharing. So the agenda is so during the tech talk, I would like to introduce what is the content delivery network, CDN, edge computing, in terms of AWS CloudFront, because there is multiple CDNs that exist today. Also, I will introduce to serverless technologies, which we have today as a part of edge computing. It's AWS Lambda Edge, Amazon CloudFront Function. Again, it's in terms Amazon. And when to choose CloudFront Function, and what is the difference, and when to choose Lambda Edge function. So, yeah. Let's start from what is edge computing. So edge computing is an IT computing model where data processing and storage function are moved away from data center to somewhere physically close to users. Why we need it? By storing and processing data close to the user and devices, edge computing helps to improve network connectivity, reduce latency, minimize cost, strengthen security, and enhance user experience. So if you will take a look at the picture, you will see, so for example, we have, for example, someone has a data center in one part of the world, but there is like the green one, it is calling Edge server or present. We're calling it POP. And it is located close to the users. So if you will compare the latency, how we transfer data, for example, from far part of the world to another part, it will take as an example 300 milliseconds. But when you when you serve or transfer some data from the POP, it will take less. So this is the main idea of edge computing, to bring everything as closer as possible to the user. What is the CDN in the edge computing? So first, if we map it to the Amazon CloudFront CDN, there is present Cloudflare CDNs, Akamai. Basically, it's all the same, just different. Different companies who is working, but the idea, the fundamental idea is the same. So it is a web service that speed up distribution of your static or dynamic web content, such as HTML, CSS, JS, images file to your user. CloudFront delivers your content through a worldwide network of data center called edge locations. Edge location, it was this one, POP, which is we're calling, which was green on the previous picture. So when the user, but simplify, usually CDN, it is a cache where we're storing most requested objects. For example, the most requested objects. Yeah. So, but to simplify, it's just cache. When the user requests content that you're serving with CloudFront, the request is routed to the edge location that provides the lowest latency. There is this edge location is spread across the world. And for example, when the user is requested some content in China, but for example, streaming company is located in US, but the streaming as well to the China, for example. We will calculate and we will redirect this request from China to the present of to the POP, which is located in the China. There is most likely will be this object which is requested by the customer. If it's not, then it will be the first request which is will land it, for example, to this POP. And then we will fetch this object from the region, for example, which is located in US, and we will cache it in China, and all other requests will leverage cache object. So this is the idea behind of content delivery network. This is how it is work usually. If you take on the picture, first step is some companies. Let's assume we have some streaming company, because it's the usual case when a streaming company is using CDN. They come to us, they're creating object in their region. It could be an Amazon S3 bucket or their HTTP server. They put this object in this S3 bucket. They're creating distribution with specific rules. For example, we will talk about rules a little bit later. So these rules basically telling us how we should serve this object to the end user. Then we're providing them, it is already step 4, then we will provide them the link which is associated with the distribution which is they created, and this link will be shared with end users. For example, with viewers who is watching this content, or who is watching this content, and they will be redirected to the edge location which is close to them. Does it make sense?
Yes, I think it does. So if I just to clarify, in this case, the content comes from the edge location itself, right?
Yeah, we will serve this content on the edge location. This is the idea. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So this is the picture. Basically, edge locations, it's usually very small servers. That's why we also have regional edge cache. Regional edge cache. Usually, it is bigger than edge location. For example, edge location, you can imagine that it is some virtual machines, like maybe hundreds virtual machines, which is combined in the data center. And this small data center, it is represent the edge location. So, and it usually we have resource limits, because it's a simple virtual machine which is limited by memory, by the space on the disk, and we can't store everything, and we can't do all like heavy processing, customizing of the caching object on the edge location. Then we start leveraging regional edge cache. It is bigger. It is bigger, but it is suited close to the Amazon infrastructure, where close to Amazon infrastructure, close to Amazon S3, DynamoDB. Here we can do more heavy processing. I will go deeply in the explaining of this and why I emphasize currently. So there is edge location and regional edge location. This is different layers of cache, we're calling them. If you will take a look, this is the world map, and there is the orange, it is a regional edge location. We have less than 100 around the world, but we have a lot of edge locations, the small one. Usually edge location is belong to the regional edge caches. So yeah, now you will understand why I emphasize on these terminologies. Now, when I will going to introduce AWS Lambda Edge and Amazon CloudFront Function. So this is about the Lambda Edge. Lambda Edge only executed in regional edge cache. Means you can right away will understand that from the perspective of latency and delivering content, CloudFront Function is provided less latency than, for example, Lambda Edge, because Lambda Edge is executed in the regional edge cache, and CloudFront Function is executed on the edge location. This first difference between them. So yeah, this is maybe let me follow my agenda. So yeah, to offer a customized experience and the lowest possible latency, many modern applications execute some form of logic at the edge, where the Lambda Edge and CloudFront Function come into the picture. The use case for applying logic at the edge can be grouped together in two main categories. So to offer customization experience and the lowest possible latency, first, a group are complex. For example, when compute-heavy operations that are executed when objects are not in the cache, for example, it could, and for this reason, we're using Lambda Edge. One of the example will be, for example, segmentation of the video streaming. If you want to transfer poor video quality or high poor video quality, so then you will use Lambda Edge, because it needs more resources, which is we have only in regional edge cache, and we can only do this on the REC, we're calling it regional edge cache. Also, there is some difference, because edge locations, it's usually could be ICP, which is belong to some network company, and which is not belong to the Amazon. But REC, it's pure Amazon, and network, everything is belong to Amazon, and that's why we are considering REC more secure than edge locations. This is one of the also constraints for some use cases, which is we can do only on the REC. And there is a second category of use case, a simple one, which is HTTP request response manipulation that can be executed by a very short-lived function. For these use cases, you need a flexible programming experience with the performance, scale, and cost effectiveness that enable you to execute them on every request. And it is CloudFront Function. CloudFront Function are ideal for light processing of web requests. For example, cache key manipulation or normalization, URL rewrites or redirect, HTTP header manipulation, access authorization. Kind of this operation you can do with CloudFront Function. So yeah, there is this was introduction, and now let's compare them.
Lily, just 1 minute, one question actually. Just to clarify, so as far as I understand, the Lambda at Edge, which is there, those are the bigger functions, complex ones that are running on the regional ones, right?
Yes.
And the smaller, which are not that, so that's the difference that you're right now showing us.
Yes. So there is difference, between the CloudFront Function. You're totally right. You got it. So and there is a difference because we're running it's on the edge location. CloudFront Function has a lot of restriction. So, for example, CloudFront Function doesn't have network calls. It is huge miss as long as I'm seeing with our clients, because everyone is using a lot of use cases which is required network calls inside of Lambda Edge, inside of function. And Lambda Edge is providing that, CloudFront Function no. Why? Because we have security constraints on the edge. And because it's not infrastructure, not pure infrastructure, which is belong to cloud, to Amazon, we are restricting network calls. We are restricting access to the file system. All the code is running purely in the memory, and that's why there is coming restriction on the execution time and on the size of the function, because we are leveraging CPU. That's why we can't run the big the big size of code. It's the constraint is 10 KB. It is sensitive one. What I can say, because when customers is using a lot of, for example, static constants or something in the code, they quite quickly exceeded these limits. That's why in last year we released key value data store, which has helped customers to reduce the size of function and save all these constants, for example, for different use cases in the key value data store. So so choosing between the Lambda Edge and CloudFront function depends on the use case.
So, Lilia, there is one question which is related to this, which Jackie is asking. Does AWS offer analysis to suggest which lambdas might be suited to be switched to edge or regional?
Can you repeat this question again?
So, does AWS offer any analysis to suggest which lambda might be suited to be switched to edge or regional?
Yes, we usually suggest customer. Usually, we encourage to use CloudFront function where it's possible. But if there is use case which is can be covered with CloudFront function, we're suggesting to use Lambda Edge. We're also quite often suggesting how to optimize, for example, code. And I can say yes, because
Thanks.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Yeah. So this is also if you will compare Lambda Edge and CloudFront function from the size which is we allowed. It is, for example, total package size for Lambda Edge. It's 1 MB or 50 MB for original trigger, and just 10 kilobytes for CloudFront function. Network access is allowed for Lambda Edge. File system is allowed. Access to the request body is also allowed, but not allowed for CloudFront function. So this is the limitation which is we have today. Also language. Lambda Edge today supporting Node.js and Python. Probably, I think Node.js. This is I'm not 100% sure. Node.js and Python, I believe so. And CloudFront function is just using JavaScript. Yes, so execution location. Lambda Edge only executed in regional edge cache, and CloudFront function is running on the edge locations. Maximum time, which is we allowed for execution at 5 seconds for Lambda Edge and 30 seconds for Lambda Edge if it's a region trigger. And for CloudFront function, it's less than 1 millisecond. Yeah, and for Lambda Edge, you have capability to, I think you can interact with DynamoDB and S3, not like with Lambda Edge is pure. Just for with DynamoDB and S3, I believe. Also Lambda Edge, even behind it is Lambda. We're executing actually Lambda, but it has also some constraints compared to the Lambda itself. And different use cases. CloudFront, this like small examples. where we can use the CloudFront function. In this example, we can redirect traffic based on simple condition. So function can be useful to redirect traffic based on simple condition. For instance, a user could choose to redirect traffic coming from a specific country of origin using the HTTP header. In the example below, the HTTP header contains two-letter code of the country of the origin, and depends on this, we will redirect. Just 1 second. For countries that are special in the in the country code, it's so this is one example how you can use CloudFront function. Another one, modifying the CloudFront cache key, can be used to modify a CloudFront cache key for a username of an authenticated request using a basic authentication mechanism. Yes. And one of the example how the Lambda Edge can be used also for redirecting requests by country or latency, depends. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's it. So yeah, if you have some questions.
Thank you. I think we have one or two questions. Catherine is asking, is AWS planning on increasing the number of edge locations in future, or will they stay in a similar number going forward?
Every year we are launching new edge locations in different countries. It's constant progress. As long as I understood, every year we are announcing that we are open new edge location close to the users.
Thanks. I hope, Catherine, that answers your question. So I had a couple of questions. I just thought of some acronyms you have used, right? I was wondering, what does POP stand for?
It is present. I just forgot.
Okay, it's just an acronym that is quite common, I suppose. Yeah. Point of presence.
Point of presence. Yeah, exactly. It's point of presence. Each locations.
Okay. All right. Any questions from anyone? Would you be able to give us an example, Lilia, where suppose if I'm hosting something in S3 bucket, I have static content, right? One image in an S3 bucket. And if I want to sort of set it up so that, I'm using CloudFront to share that or distribute it to my users, how would I go about it if you have anything on that?
Yes, I can tell. So basically, you have first you creating distribution. We're calling it distribution. It is basically the configurations how you want to distribute your traffic. In this distributions, you can define caching behavior. We are calling it caching behavior. It could be the path of URL, or it could be the sequence of query string, for example.
Okay.
Or it could be default one. And based on your caching behavior, you want to you are defined your origin from where you want to serve what you want to serve to your end users. So it is a stream.
Right.
For streaming company, there is media package through which they surfing they video streaming, for example, online streaming event on stuff something. It is a media package in Amazon we're calling. And on this, on each caching behavior, you can customize with serverless technologies.
Okay.
We're calling, there is 4 events, which is viewer request, which is we usually execute before checking if your object in the cache or not. It could be a lot of customers could, for example, just to offload load on their region. And right away, for example, if you object in the cache, just return something to the end user. They're using it to offloading the traffic from their region, or also from the cost effective efficiency, because all the call which is they're doing to their region, where Amazon is charging them on different price. But if the object is served from the cache, from the edge locations, then it is cheaper for them as well. So on each this event, we have customization, which is CloudFront function or Lambda Edge.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for that. Any other questions anybody has? No? Anything? All right.
Made it very quick.
Yeah,
I was thinking it will be long.
a little, we still have some time, 20 minutes left. So in case if anybody wants any more explanations on anything which, no.
I can tell a little bit how it is built. So Lambda Edge using at the background Lambda, which is Lambda is executed in the virtual machines. It is not like virtual machine, which is like virtual machine. As long as I understood, they just recently introduced a very small virtual machine, which is helping them to improve also the performance issue with cold start, with as long as I understood, if you have Lambda, which is written in Java, for example, it takes some time to spin up the virtual machine and JVM machine, and they make some optimization. They introduce new small virtual machine, but still they have a problem with the cold start, and I see it can take for like 5 seconds. 5 seconds, it is quite significant, because if you will take a look, we are trying to serve everything within millisecond. It is the trend of current of compute technologies.
In that case, like even if it takes 5 seconds for that Lambda to come up and process that, after that it would be cached, right? So the next time we wouldn't have to rely on the Lambda as such.
Yes, exactly. But if we're talking about CloudFront function, for example, it is we leverage process, just process instead of there is threads and process. And for CloudFront function, we're leveraging process. We just spin up the process, but due to limitation of security, we can't. We have everything in the memory. That's why that's how we are secure about the. We are confident about the security, because it is a shareable space where we're executing a few functions in parallel from different customers, and there could be some malicious function which is wants to, for example, to do something to the neighbors.
Okay, now I think I now understand why it is the cloud functions are very limited, right? You said what, 1 millisecond?
Yes, 1 millisecond. It's even less. It is actually microsecond, after which we usually starting to throttle. It is like half of millisecond usually.
Yeah, because I mean, now I understand, because it's running in a sort of a shared space. It does make sense that it doesn't have access to a lot other stuff that a Lambda will have.
Yes.
And you mentioned that I think Lambda does have access to DynamoDB and S3, you said, right?
Yes.
Which makes sense that a cloud function doesn't. Yeah, so that's good information. Any other question? Anything else at this point? Anybody trying to use this? That would be my question. We recently used it on our side with CloudFront. I don't exactly know what setup was used, because I don't work in DevOps. I'm mostly I'm just talking to people as a manager and trying to get things done. So in that sense, we do have a lot of static content, like, terms and conditions, privacy policy, which we have it on our website. These are the clients I'm talking about. And in that case, we used to use shared content, which was coming through pre-signed URLs. And then we thought, oops, somebody's joining in. So we started using CloudFront quite recently, and it's quite easy to use actually. There is one question. Can I have recorded? Yes, we will share the link. We will share the recording.
Could I ask a question, please? I was just wondering the application of Edge. Your diagram showed it being kind of, multinational or international. Is there any applications of Edge if you are just simply UK based?
What do you mean UK-based applications?
So if all of our traffic is simply within the UK,
yeah.
Is there any application where it would still be useful to use Edge and distribute your code on different setups?
I mean, it will be part of your distribution configuration, and basically you just there is not like separate. You don't need to eliminate. But you, for example, if you have your application and you're, for example, want only have traffic from UK, and you want to restrict the other traffic to your application from the different country, then you can set up it for sure. If I answer your question.
So if I want to limit the content to be shared only within UK, then I could use a Lambda at Edge and control it. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
Is the question to me or
no, to you, Lilia.
Yes. You can use even not Lambda Edge. You can use CloudFront Function. CloudFront Function will block traffic outside of the UK.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm not necessarily like my application wouldn't be trying to block or exclude traffic from the UK. Predominantly our business is simply UK based, so traffic will only fundamentally, be being served to and from the UK only.
I think
so.
Jackie, your situation is similar to mine, I think so, because even our traffic is mostly within UK. And as I said, right, we recently started using this CloudFront. We use the London-based data center, and at that point, we are using CloudFront just to serve the static content. But I don't think we are using Lambda at Edge. That
makes sense.
That's the only thing I think I understood from Lilia. Is that correct?
Yeah, your traffic, then you don't need to do anything. So basically we have routing. Routing is a part of CloudFront, which is calculating and quite smart to indicate from where traffic is come, and it will route this traffic to within the UK, because this is the first things which is we're calculating. We're calculating the best path for your request. I mean, best from perspective of latency, from surfing. So it is not payable. It's not nothing. You're just using CloudFront, and it is going out of box. This is the main goal of content delivery, to route your traffic as close to the users as possible. So it will be always UK. If it's traffic comes from UK, it will come to the UK POP.
So
okay, that's cool. And if you were to then want to, actually, your business strategy was to then go, into multinational, international traffic within AWS. Will AWS within the package actually tell you right now, you might suggest that you might want to move X lambdas to Edge or whatever, or is that something that you would have to talk to a person in order to get analysis on?
It will be on the backend done, because once you, for example, customer, you will create your Lambda Edge. For example, you're sitting in the UK and your customer, you're creating your configuration and Lambda Edge. We will replicate for you across the world. And whenever your viewer request, means clients request traffic is come, we will serve for this client. So it's coming out of box. The one thing which is you need, if you want to block, then you should define the rules. But anything else, we will replicate it right away across the world for you. Yeah, and so this will be.
That's interesting, because I didn't know. I think I get Jackie's question, and even I thought that's the same thing. Like, if I'm writing Lambda at Edge, what I thought was it's just within the UK, or I have to specify that, oh, you know what, this is to be for the US. But from what you're saying, it will be replicated everywhere.
It will be replicated everywhere, but there is customers, for example, who has use case where they limit, for example, and not possible to serve something in some regions. Then they explicitly will tell us, yeah, I don't want to replicate Lambda Edge to this region. Then we won't.
Okay.
But if there is no this restriction, then we will replicate.
Okay. And then whatever content I'm hosting will go to, I mean, if the user is in, say, US or something, it will just route to the nearest location, and I don't even have to worry about it at that point.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. I thought you have to specifically deploy to all regions, or, specify I want in US.
That was what I assumed as well. Yeah.
I thought so. It's automatically replicated. I didn't know that.
Yeah. To all regions.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it has been a good talk. Interesting. A lot of learning. Any more questions? Anybody else? I don't think we have anything in the chat as well. So I think we can end the talk if that is the case, if nobody has any questions, anything. Lilia, you want to add something more? Give us more information, how you actually write the code behind all this.
No, I mean, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Because it's always interesting to know how, I mean, we just use AWS. I and Lilia, we were talking before the talk started, and I was just telling her that, we so much rely on AWS, and then we don't even think how all these things work. And, it's actually somebody has written some code somewhere, and that's how it's being supported. So that's quite nice. I'm going to share the QR code, so please do give your feedback. Let me see if I'm able to share it. That's one thing. Hold on.
Yeah, shall I stop sharing?
Yes, please. That's fine. I'll stop recording as well. When is recording? Where is stop recording?
Just before